How you do, boxing fans? ¿Cómo está ustedes? ¿Qué huele, carnales? Yeah, a good fight comes on May 4 in 2 weeks from now, when Pretty Boy, Floyd Mayweather, and the Ghost, Robert Guerrero, fights for the WBC welterweight title. According to the phony official record, Mayweather has 43 fights. All 43 of them are victories, with 26 of them within the distance. And he has no losses. But those of you who understand boxing and knows the entire game around the sport understand that in reality, out of those 43 fights, Floyd won only 40. And he has 2 losses and 1 draw at least. A draw he had with De La Hoya, though biased judges there counted many of thrown punches of Floyd which he never landed. So they gave a victory to him. And as far as his losses, his first loss was handed to Floyd by Castillo in the first fight in 2002, and the second time Floyd lost to Zab Judah. But each time we had a major travesty of boxing, a very ugly travesty during which the results of boxing matches were falsified. Yeah, in his first fight with Castillo actually landed on Floyd 203 total punches, and Mayweather landed on Castillo only 157. Yet the judges, they gave the victory to Floyd. Incidentally, one crook by the name Bob Arum was involved in the management of that fight. And also I'd like to mention a most recent travesty of Pacquiao and Bradley fight, where Pacquiao landed 190 total punches and Bradley landed only 108. And Pacquiao, if you remember, was obviously dominant throughout the fight, yet mysteriously again, judges had a problem with math and the victory was given to Bradley. And guess who was in charge of Pakman Bradley fight? You betcha. Coincidentally, Bob Arum was in charge again. This crook who rigs the fights, arbitrarily falsifying the results of the fights and prompting rematches to skim millions of dollars of the unsuspecting boxing fans like you and me, and procreate false champions like Mayweather and Bradley. I'd like to talk more about the second loss of Floyd in 2006 in his fight against Zab Judah. The official phony decision says that Floyd won that fight, but all of you who saw that fight could clearly see that Judah won clearly the first, second, and third, and the fourth rounds. At least 2 times Zab hurt Floyd, and he would be quick to follow up. He would knock him out right there in the first round. Then in a second round, Judah even knocked Floyd down. But incidentally, again, that referee, Richard Steele, was so blind that he did not count the knockdown. Judah was picking up his team throughout the fight as the fight progressed, and he was getting to pull the trigger anytime soon. And if you remember, Roger Mayweather was panicking in the corner of Floyd. Honest to God, if Judah had a decent cornerman, he would knock Floyd out by round 3. But Zab did not get any clear instructions from his corner, which allowed Floyd to regroup, and I must admit, he did win round 5, though barely. Round 6 was close, yet Judah was better. Round 6, 7, 8, and 9 were give and take affair, which could go either way, but mysteriously they were given to Floyd again. Excuse me. Then came round 10, when Judah landed a low blow. Any one of you who was in the ring and was hit in the cup knows it doesn't feel good. Yeah, but it's not that bad, because the cup protects pretty well. But the Floyd, who was very frustrated by Judah's dominance, it was a terrific pretext to employ his acting skills, pretending that he was about to die from pain. Panicking since round 1, Roger jumped into the ring and created a havoc, during which Roger actually choked Judah into a brief unconsciousness. For those of you who do not know, I must tell that choking, even the brief one, is equal to a knockout. The brain of a person is deprived of oxygen and become disoriented as if you were knocked out. If the ring doctor paid attention to what happened to Judah during that melee, but he missed that moment. Referee Richard Steele should disqualify Floyd for his cornerman jumping into the ring, period. But being the worst referee as he was, Richard Steele let the fight go. So round 11 and 12, Judah fought like he was after the knockout. He did lose round 11 clearly, but amazing. In round 12, he actually recovered and he won round 12 clearly. Yet the dummy judges gave victory to Floyd. So now you know what happened in that fight, the most preposterous scam in the history of boxing. Now Guerrero. Well, judging by his stupid pistola adventure at the airport in New York the other day, it is a sign that the management of his team is poor. If there was a good team, his teammates would not let him take that pistola, stupid pistola with him. I can't even imagine as to why in the hell he took that pistola with him. Maybe it was like a talisman for him, like for good luck, you never know. Or maybe he pretended to be James Bond, you know? Or maybe it was Mike Tyson who invited him to shoot some pigeons, you know, in the neighborhood. You never know. Or maybe he wanted to exercise instead of a dumbbell, you know. Or his name Guerrero. Actually in Spanish, I believe means like guerra, like war, like a warrior. So he actually wanted to live up to his name. Yeah! You know, you'd be surprised how many people actually try to live up to their names. Especially strange that some parents name their sons like Dick, you know, like dicks, you know, and many of those dicks try to live up to their names. Like look what happened to Dick Cheney. He messed up this country so bad that it's been how many since about 10 years? But still, even now, about 90% of American people can afford shopping only at the Village at the 50% discount day. Personally, I can't do even that. All I can afford is shoplifting. Yeah. Thanks God I got some extensive training. So I don't buy this shit, you know. I just lift it. That's funny. All right, where was I? Let's go back to Guerrero. Well, whatever the reason, Guerrero took that pistola to New York with him, but it was a very stupid reason, to say the least. And another thing I noticed that the last few interviews, Guerrero speaks about Jesus and Jesus and Jesus, nothing else but Jesus. Well, Jesus is good, for sure, but relying on Jesus all the times, the way he talks, it's a bad sign. It means that Guerrero got a poor fighting spirit. He cannot rely on himself. And judging by his last fight with Andre Berto just 5 months ago, Guerrero proved that he has a kind of poor spirit. He did hurt Berto in round 1 and 2, and he had a chance to follow up and to finish Berto right there. Well, that's what I would do, you know. If I was there, I wouldn't let Berto live a second after that point, after I hurt him, ever. But Guerrero failed to follow up. Well, Guerrero got good skills, some power. His power was quite dominant, pretty good when he was fighting in smaller weights. But in this weight division, his power is not enough, definitely. His aggression is poor. He's durable, but aggression, particularly aggression, is poor. He cannot, there is no explosion in his fists. He apparently doesn't know how to put the trigger anymore. And what he has, it's not good enough to beat Floyd. What I want to say at the end, that any boxer who avoids to fight a top contender in the sport is not a champ. At least I cannot consider him a champ. Since Floyd refused to fight Pakman, I do not consider him a champ. But I noticed also that Floyd fights lefties a lot, quite a bit. Yeah, he was miserable against Judah, he lost clearly, but then he was getting better and better. Well, throughout, he fought Chop Corley, and then Mitchell, then Victor Ortiz, and now Guerrero. And he is gradually improving his skills of fighting a lefty. I think by fighting Guerrero, he is getting a dress rehearsal for Pacquiao. I think it's a smart move. I hope he will finally stop being scared and finally agree to fight Pakman, especially after Pakman was clipped by Marquez recently, and Pakman is not sharp really and quick anymore as he used to be. I think it is a ripe time for Floyd to challenge Pakman, and he has now a real chance to beat Pakman. Even if he loses to Pakman, I will call him champ, just for taking this challenge. That's what true champs do, right? They are not afraid to take any challenge. That's why we call them champs. Well, so now let's go to predictions. So what? What in the hell is going to happen in this fight? Well, I think the likelihood of a stoppage is very slim, unless Floyd manages to land a sucker punch like what he did to Ortiz. For this, he needs only to point upward and say to Guerrero, look, see, this is the Jesus right here. And the moment Guerrero gawks, upward, like looking, where? That's at that moment Floyd has to whack him with a sucker punch and finish him off right there. But if Guerrero does not buy that trick, then most likely the fight will go distance and Floyd will get a victory by 12-round decision. Yeah. Picarle. Cheers.